Just 3 days ago, I broke up with my boyfriend after discovering he was cheating on me. Now, here I am at my office's anniversary party, trying to blend in. I should have skipped, but I'd only landed my dream job a week ago. I couldn't afford to make waves. So I lurked in a corner, drink in hand, hoping to go unnoticed, until I saw him. Tall, sharp-jawed, exuding confidence, and heading straight for me. I considered slipping into the crowd, but it was too late. "Why are you standing here all alone?" His voice was smooth, teasing. I forced a half smile. "I'm new. Don't really know anyone." He arched a brow. "You? Please. You look like someone who could charm the pants off anyone." I huffed a quiet laugh. Looks can be deceiving." "Oh?" he smirked. "Then what does my face tell you?" I studied him. The way his lips curved just so. The heat in his eyes. "That you're confident? Ambitious? A guy who always gets what he wants?" For a moment, his eyes had a haunted look before he chuckled. "Flattering, but trust me, things aren't always what they seem." Extending a hand, he added, "Logan." "Jason." I shook his hand, warmth prickling up my arm. "Anyway, you're new, but no one is punishing you here. Live a little." Logan smirked. "I might, now that I've got some good company." I grinned. He leaned in, voice dropping. "Yeah, I can tell you're enjoying yourself." I smirked. "You're somewhat entertaining." Logan's eyes gleamed with mischief. "Step 1, complete." I rolled my eyes. "Step 2?" His fingers brushed my wrist, light, deliberate. "Convincing you to spend the rest of the night with me." I tilted my head, playing along. "And what do I get out of it?" He stepped closer, his breath warm against my ear, his lips just a touch away. "A night you won't forget." A shiver curled down my spine. Maybe it was the heat in his gaze or the way his fingers lingered, but for the first time in days, I wasn't thinking about my past. Before I could second guess it, I kissed him. His lips were hot, urgent, and when he tangled his fingers in my hair, I let myself sink into it, into him. Breathless, he whispered against my lips, "Let's get out of here." I nodded, unable to trust my voice, and without hesitation, he took my hand, threading his fingers through mine. With a mischievous grin, he led me away from the party, and I followed, knowing that, for once, I was ready to let go. The next morning. I woke up feeling tired, my surroundings unfamiliar. Then, last night came rushing back. "Tell me if you want me to stop," Logan murmured, his lips trailing at my skin, his hands exploring me. "No, please don't," I whispered, lost in desire. We moved together, the world fading until only we existed. It was wild, passionate, intoxicating. Now, warmth crept up my face as the memories flooded back. I had never felt such an electrifying connection before. But as I glanced around, Logan was nowhere to be seen. Disappointment settled in my chest until I checked my phone. I was late for work. Panic surged as I threw on last night's clothes, hoping no one would notice. "Hey Jason," my coworker greeted as I arrived. "Looks like you had too much fun last night." "What do you mean?" I asked, my heart racing. "Look at the time," he smirked. "You're ridiculously late." "Oh, yeah, slept in," I stammered, forcing a smile. Determined to find Logan, I asked around, but no one knew him. Then my boss's voice cut through my thoughts. "Attention everyone, there's someone I'd like you to meet." I turned and my breath caught. Logan stood beside him. "What the hell?" My boss continued. "This is my husband, Logan. He's been overseas, but starting tomorrow, he'll be joining our company." Shock paralyzed me. Husband? Logan was married? The events of last night replayed in horrifying clarity. Why hadn't he told me? Why had he acted single? And worse, why the hell did he sleep with me? Nausea hit as the realization sank in. I had just slept with my boss's husband. A few days later. I had tried my best to not only forget last night, but also Logan. And though it felt impossible sometimes, I had managed to avoid Logan in the office till now. I know the right thing should have been to confront him, but honestly, I wasn't sure if I wanted to face him again. I was getting a coffee in between my work when I heard Logan's voice call me out. "Fancy seeing you here," he smirked. "You seem to forget that I work here," I replied indifferently and started to leave. but Logan held his hand out and stopped me. Why are you avoiding me? For a second, I wanted to shout at him that you made me cheat, but I only replied, I come here to work, not to talk, and brushed past him. But a while later, I was shocked to find Logan standing over my desk as I worked. What are you doing here? I asked coolly. I need your opinion on this presentation, he simply replied with a smile. Why me? There are a lot of people in this office. I mean, you're the boss's husband, I frowned. His eyes darkened for a split second. Charles is always busy. His tone was light, but something about it felt off. Before I could dwell on it, he pointed at the presentation with an easy grin. Anyway, I heard your presentations are really good. This seems like your area of expertise. Fine, I'll look at it. Just send me the file, I replied, giving up. I think it would be better if we look at it together. You give me the pointers. Why don't we go to my cabin? He shrugged, smiling. I frowned. No need, we can work here. It wouldn't take much time. It looked like he was going to argue, but then he smiled. No problem, whatever you think works. 2 days later. Want to grab lunch, Jason? Logan leaned against my desk. I barely looked up. Leave me alone, Logan. I've got work. Come on, everyone needs fuel. Let's go somewhere nice. Maybe even your favorite, he winked. I'll grab something from the office cafeteria, I replied flatly. Shouldn't you be with Charles? He's busy with clients, he shrugged, lying. I just overheard him say he'd be eating alone. What was going on with those two? Before I could question it, Logan smirked. You sure? I heard their sandwiches taste like cardboard. I grimaced at the memory but refused to give in. I'm not really hungry. He looked like he might argue but walked away instead. Half an hour later, he was back, grinning. What now? I sighed. He held up a takeaway bag. Brought you something? I don't need it, but the aroma made my resolve waver. Logan set it on my desk. Eat when you're hungry. I don't want favors. It's not a favor. Consider it thanks for helping with my presentation. I sighed and accepted it. Why don't you leave me alone? That's not what you said when you kissed me, Logan murmured. That was a mistake. Was it? He stepped closer, voice softer, almost vulnerable. For a second, he looked sad. You're really going to keep running from me, huh? I'm not running, I said, meeting his gaze with forced indifference. I'm making the right choice. Logan chuckled, but it didn't reach his eyes. Are you? His tone sent a shiver down my spine. Then, just as easily, he grinned. Alright, Jason. If you want to play hearts again, I'll play along. With that, he walked out, leaving me confused, and unsure how much longer I could resist him. A week later. For some reason, Logan kept finding excuses to call me to his cabin or stop by my desk. Sometimes it was work-related, but mostly it was trivial. Bringing me coffee, asking for an old file, or something equally absurd. Yet, he never let me in, never told me what was going on in his life. None of it made sense. But every time I stood before him, memories of that night came rushing back. The best night of my life. Every brush of his fingers, every lingering glance, every teasing smile made it harder to ignore the pull between us. I wanted to kiss him again, but I knew how wrong that would be. A message from Logan. Come to my cabin. I sighed. This was getting out of hand. If my boss found out, I could lose my job. Storming into his office, I demanded, What do you want? Logan smirked. Is that any way to speak to your senior? If my senior keeps calling me and for no real reason, then yes. Amusement flickered in his sharp green eyes. Who said there's no reason? I need to discuss something important. I crossed my arms. Oh, really? And what exactly? He leaned forward. Us. I stared at him, stunned. What do you mean? His chuckle was pure mischief. The new project we're working on together. I frowned. I wasn't informed. It was a sudden decision, he shrugged. I sighed. Another excuse to spend time with me? As much as I'd love to be able to take the credit, I actually work too, you know, he smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes, like he wished he didn't have to. Deciding to believe him, I nodded. Fine, let's get on with it. Soon we were completely absorbed in our work, ideas flowing effortlessly. Wow, we got so much done, I said, stretching after hours of focus. Told you we make a great team, Logan winked. For once, I had no argument. Wait here, I'll go get us some coffee. Before I could refuse, he was gone. When he returned, he handed me a cup. I took a sip, eyes widening. This is my favorite. How did you know? He leaned against the desk, smiling. You get the same one every day. Wasn't exactly a mystery. I hesitated, unsure whether to be touched or annoyed. Thanks, I muttered, feeling oddly flustered. A few hours later. Let me drop you home, Logan offered as we wrapped up work. No need, I'll grab an Uber. It's late. Cabs won't be easy to find, he insisted. I wanted to argue, but his serious expression made me relent. As we walked to his car, a nagging thought crept in. Was Charles joining us? But as Logan drove off alone, curiosity won over. Where's Charles, sir? I asked hesitantly. He's not coming, Logan replied, tone suddenly cold. I frowned, again wondering what was going on between them. Silence thickened the air, stretching unbearably. Finally, I reached for the stereo, hoping music would help. Just as I touched the dial, Logan's hand brushed mine. A jolt of electricity shot through me, and I pulled away. For a moment, neither of us spoke. Then, out of nowhere, we both burst into laughter. Guess we had the same idea, Logan grinned. Chuckling, I asked, country music? You read my mind. I raised an eyebrow. I pegged you as more of a classic rock guy, something intense and brooding. Logan smirked. I do like rock, but country has its charm. The lyrics, they tell a story. Yeah, I murmured, staring out the window. I get that. For a while, we let the music fill the silence. Then Logan said, I meant what I said earlier. I turned to him. About what? That we make a great team, he said, his voice softer. At work, and maybe beyond that. My breath hitched. My heart wanted to believe him, but my mind screamed otherwise. You're married, Logan, I whispered. His grip on the steering wheel tightened. It's complicated. I let out a dry laugh. It always is, isn't it? Silence settled once again before he spoke. Don't you wish this moment could last? That we could have another night like the one at the hotel? I swallowed. I don't know, I murmured. Then almost inaudibly, maybe. It was wrong to want him, but no matter how hard I tried, I couldn't stop. The car rolled to a stop outside my apartment. Neither of us moved. Finally, I reached for the door handle. Good night, Logan. Jason, I didn't let him finish. I stepped out, shutting the door before I did something reckless. As I walked away, I felt his eyes on me, but I didn't turn around. I couldn't. The next day, I entered the office with a pounding headache, exhausted from a restless night haunted by the thoughts of Logan. Sighing, I grabbed a caramel latte before heading to my desk. I groaned, remembering I had to work with Logan today. After last night's unresolved tension, I wasn't ready to face him. Maybe I could avoid him, just for today. But barely an hour later, Logan called me in. Why did you run off yesterday? He asked the moment I stepped into his office. Isn't it obvious? I snapped. He frowned. What do you mean? Frustration boiled over. Don't act innocent. You've been pushing boundaries, getting too close, finding excuses to be with me, even trying to kiss me. And all this time you were married. Logan looked away. I never lied to you. I just didn't tell you. That's the same thing. You made me cheat on a married man. No, not really. Let me explain, Logan sighed. Charles and I have been on the rocks for a while. We're complete opposites. I've been planning to divorce him. I faltered, seeing him break down. The truth is, we're on a break. Charles suggested it, said we could see other people. And you just went along with it? I wasn't comfortable, Logan admitted, but Charles insisted and even started seeing other men. He still believes our marriage can be saved. Well, I lost hope a long time ago. That's why he brought me into the company, to keep up the illusion. Sometimes I think that's all our marriage is, a facade. His voice cracked. I reached out instinctively. I'm sorry. I never meant to get involved with anyone, Logan admitted. But then I met you, and I couldn't stay away. His eyes softened. I should have told you, but I was afraid I'd lose you. I hesitated, then pulled him into a hug. You didn't have to go through this alone. I'm here now. His breath hitched. That means everything, Jason. As we held each other, that familiar pull returned. Logan hesitated, but I closed the distance, kissing him. Fervent, desperate, like nothing else existed, until a sharp, booming voice shattered it. "What the hell are you two doing?" Logan's eyes widened in shock. My heart pounded as I turned. My boss stood there, fury blazing in his eyes. A chill ran down my spine. This was the end of us. Half an hour later. My boss hadn't stopped yelling at us for the past 30 minutes. I'm sure everyone in the office must know what was happening by now. Honestly, it didn't even make sense for him to yell at us, as Logan did nothing wrong. After all, Charles himself was seeing other people, and he was the one who suggested the break. But that didn't matter, I guess, because Logan was always wrong in his eyes. "You couldn't find anyone better than the new hire, huh?" Charles snapped. "I expected it from you, though, seeing how you have no taste." I could feel my anger bubbling at every word he said. He was insulting not only me, but Logan, too, and it was difficult to keep my anger under control. "Charles, please, don't drag Jason into this. You were the one who suggested the break, that we see other men." Logan tried to speak up. "But an employee? That's low even for you," he sneered. "Fine, I'll accept it as my fault then. Just don't do anything to Jason," Logan pleaded. "But, Logan, you can't take the blame for me." I stared at him in shock. "Please, Jason, I don't want you to suffer." "Stop it, you two," Charles shouted. "I'll be the one to decide what happens. And Logan, you've only managed to ruin our marriage further," he sneered. Logan looked like he was about to argue, but then shook his head and just said, "I know." As I saw the devastation on his face, my own heart ached. I couldn't do this to Logan, not when I cared about him. I couldn't be the reason his life fell apart. There was only one thing left to do. I had to resign. A week later. A week had passed since I left my job, and my search for a new one had been futile. I missed my coworkers, but more than anything, I missed Logan. I had cut off all contact, hoping he was doing better than me. I was browsing job listings on my laptop when the doorbell rang. I rarely had visitors, so I hesitated before opening it, only to freeze in shock. Logan stood there, looking like a mess. His brown hair was disheveled, his green eyes sunken, and his clothes rumpled. What are you doing here?" I stammered. "Jason," he whispered hoarsely, nearly collapsing against the doorframe. "I've come for you." Still stunned, I stepped inside to let him in. Once inside, I gestured to his state. "What happened?" He sighed, running a hand through his hair. "Charles and I have been fighting all week. He blames me for ruining our marriage. I blamed him for forcing you to leave." "I didn't leave because of him," I admitted. "I left because of you. Because I couldn't stand seeing you get hurt." Logan scoffed. "You left me so I wouldn't get hurt? Jason, that hurt me the most. I've been going crazy trying to find you. Why would you think leaving was the right decision?" "Because staying only made things worse, and..." I hesitated before whispering, "I didn't want to be the reason your marriage ended." "You were never the reason," Logan said firmly, gripping my shoulders. "Charles and I had issues long before you. In fact, you were my savior." I blinked. "Savior? But I left when you needed me." Logan shook his head. "And you did it for me. But after you left, I realized how much I needed you. That's why I came here." I swallowed hard. "So, what happens now? Are you still married?" "Not for much longer. I finally convinced Charles to divorce me. It took endless fights, but he agreed." A small smile played on his lips. "Now we can be together, without any issues." I hesitated. "Are you sure about this? About me?" Logan exhaled, stepping closer. "I've never been more sure of anything. I love you, Jason, and I'm not afraid to admit it anymore." He paused, his voice softening. "But if you don't want this..." "No," I interrupted quickly. "I care about you too, Logan. I'm just not sure if we should be together right now." Logan's gaze searched mine before he murmured, "I don't care how long it takes. I'll wait for you." Then, with a small smirk, he added, "Can I at least get a kiss?" I hesitated before nodding. The moment Logan pulled me into a wild, passionate kiss, I melted into him, kissing him back just as desperately. For that moment, nothing else mattered. I wasn't ready now, but one thing was certain. I couldn't wait to see what the future held for us. A few days later. Logan and I had arranged to meet near the office, as he had something important to discuss with me. Thanks for waiting, Logan said as he arrived. No problem. What did you want to tell me? I've hired a divorce lawyer, he said. The proceedings have started. That's great! Then why do you look so worried? Charles refuses to settle. He's dragging me to court, Logan sighed. His lawyer's making him look like the victim while I'm the villain. I squeezed his hand. He won't get away with it. I'm with you every step of the way. Logan's eyes softened as he pulled me into his arms. Thank you, Jason. Your support means everything. A sharp voice cut through the moment. So, you're still sleeping with that guy? We turned to see Charles approaching, fury blazing in his eyes. Leave, Charles, I said firmly. Logan and I share something you'll never understand. His face twisted with rage. You stole Logan from me! He lunged, grabbing my collar. I held his gaze. I didn't steal anyone! You suffocated Logan. He finally broke free. You? Charles raised his fist, but Logan stepped between us. Enough, Charles. Don't blame Jason for your mistakes. Divorcing you was my choice. Charles clenched his fist. You think you can just walk away and play happy couple? I won't let that happen. Logan didn't waver. Our marriage was over long before I filed. You just refused to see it. Charles let out a bitter laugh. You'll regret this. I'll make sure you both lose everything. I stepped forward. You can try, but we're not afraid of you. Charles sneered at Logan. You'll come crawling back when you realize he's not worth it. Logan shook his head. My only mistake was staying with you for as long as I did. With that, Charles stormed off. Logan exhaled, running a hand through his hair. You okay? I asked, touching his arm. Logan smiled. I am now. I squeezed his hand. No matter what Charles does, we'll face it together. He pulled me into a tight embrace. I don't deserve you. I smiled. Too late. You're stuck with me now. For the first time, we felt truly free. 2 weeks later. So, how's the verdict on the divorce? I asked, sipping my favorite coffee as I sat across from Logan in a cafe. It's been a headache. I can't wait to be just done with it, he replied, frustrated. I offered a reassuring smile. I'm here for you. Is Charles still being difficult? When isn't he? Logan snorted. Every time we discuss the statement, he picks a fight. I'm tired of all of this. Sometimes I just feel like giving up, he sighed. You don't want that, though. You shouldn't back down either. Just fight him with everything, I replied firmly. Logan grinned. If only I could take you with me to divorce proceedings, things would be so much easier. I chuckled. Well, I can cheer you on from the sidelines. Leaning in slightly, I brushed my fingers against his cheek. But I can't wait for the day we can finally date for real. Me too, he smiled. How are things with you? Any luck with job interviews? I sighed. I have a few lined up, but I haven't landed anything yet. Don't worry, you'll find a perfect one soon, he assured me. I hope so. I'll run out of money soon, I admitted hesitantly. I keep telling you to borrow from me, but you never listen, Logan shook his head, exasperated. Because I don't want to depend on you, I countered. Logan sighed. I get that, but you're not alone in this. I want to help. I reached for his hand across the table, giving it a light squeeze. And I appreciate that, but I need to do this myself. He nodded. Alright, but if you ever change your mind, the offer stands. I smiled. Noted. Logan took a sip of his coffee, his expression softening. I just want things to settle down, for both of us. They will, I assured him, one step at a time. He exhaled, a small smile tugging at his lips. And once they do, I'm taking you on a real date. I chuckled. I'll hold you to that. A few weeks later, I had finally landed the job I wanted, with a supportive boss and friendly coworkers. Working here made me realize just how much I had been missing in my previous job. Over the past few weeks, Logan and I met several times, and though we hadn't officially started dating yet, I knew it was only a matter of time before we did. I was at my desk when my phone buzzed with a text from Logan. Can you meet me at lunch? I've good news. Curious. I quickly replied yes, my mind racing with possibilities. The hours dragged by as I impatiently waited to find out what he had to say. When lunchtime finally arrived, I hurried to the restaurant we had agreed upon. As soon as Logan spotted me, he strolled over and pulled me into a tight hug. What's the occasion? I asked, surprised but smiling. Can't I hug without any reason? He raised an eyebrow, smirking. You can do even more, I murmured, leaning in close. But weren't you going to tell me something? My divorce was finalized yesterday. I'm finally free, he grinned. What? That's amazing news, I exclaimed. We should celebrate. Then, after a brief pause, I hesitated. Wait, what does that mean for us? To my shock, Logan suddenly dropped to one knee. It means we can finally be together. His green eyes sparkled as he held my gaze. Jason, will you stay by my side? My breath hitched. What? This is so sudden, I stammered. He chuckled. Relax, I'm not proposing marriage or anything. I want to take things slow too, but I don't want to lose you again. I pulled him up, locking eyes with him. You don't have to worry about that. There's nowhere else I belong but by your side. His smile softened before he leaned in, capturing my lips in a tender, heartfelt kiss, a reflection of everything we had been through. As we pulled apart, I whispered, I love you. Logan's grin widened. I've been waiting to hear that. He brushed his fingers against my cheek. I can't wait to officially start dating you. I chuckled, feeling lighter than I had in a long time. Finally, we could start fresh, leaving all hesitation and troubles behind. 2 months later. Hello there, young man. You look like you use a drink and some company. A smooth voice purred from behind me. Smirking, I turned around. Oh, are you offering both? Logan grinned, trailing a finger along my neck. I might, for an interesting man like you. I chuckled. You look like someone who knows how to have fun. Care to join me, Mr. Logan? His smirk deepened as his fingers brushed against my cheek. Why don't we take this somewhere more private? A little later, we found ourselves in a quiet room, and before I could say another word, Logan's lips crashed into mine, wild and raw. You're a good actor, I murmured when we finally broke apart, breathless. You're not so bad yourself, he smirked. I let out a chuckle. Never thought pretending to hook up at someone else's party would be this exciting. Life's never boring with me, love, Logan teased, running his hands down my sides. I like playing with danger. Stick with me and you'll see. Grinning, I pulled him closer. Oh, I plan to. Soon, our hands explored, lips met, and we lost ourselves in the moment. Later, as we lay tangled together, I whispered, So when's our next adventure? Logan traced lazy circles on my skin before leaning in to brush his lips against mine. Soon. Very soon. Are you sure you're up for it? I gazed at him with a soft smile, love evident in my eyes. With you, always. He pressed a lingering kiss to my forehead, and with him by my side, I knew life would never be boring again. After Logan and I moved in together, life became an adventure filled with love and laughter. Every moment was cherished. Playful cooking experiments, stolen kisses, and effortless happiness. A stark contrast to our past. Charles became a distant memory. His attempts to ruin us failed, and karma took its toll. His company collapsed, leaving him to face the consequences alone. Years later, in front of friends and family, Logan proposed. Without hesitation, I said yes. Now, standing beside him, moments from becoming his forever, I can't believe how far we've come. Thank you for never giving up on me, I whisper. Logan smiles, love shining in his eyes. Thank you for saving me. As we exchange vows and the priest pronounces us married, Logan pulls me into a deep kiss, a promise of the beautiful life ahead. The end. Do you think Jason made the right choice by giving Logan a chance? Thanks for watching. Consider subscribing to become a part of our Rainbow Force and stay wholesome.